What's up, guys? It's Bolt, and I'm back with another Lords of the Fallen build guide. In this video, we're going to go over my Bucketlord build. I've seen a couple of comments asking for this build, and here it is. It's one of my favorite weapons in the entire game, just because of the meme factor in it. And not only that, these things hit insanely hard. These are one of the strongest, if not the strongest, pure physical damage weapons in the entire game. They have a great special attack. They're not really annoying to unlock, even though you do unlock the Gilded buckets kind of late in the game, but they're not super annoying. You get the Bucketlord helping you out on all of the mini-boss fights, which is pretty damn awesome. And they're just all around a fun weapon to use, but let's get right into it. Let's go straight into the stat breakdown. So, if you see, the Gilded bucket is a strength and agile scaling, and it's the highest. It has an S scaling, it's aka quality weapon. It has an S scaling in strength and agile, which is absurd. So, what makes these weapons extremely powerful? As you see, the attack power on them, isn't really anything to write home about. You go, oh, Bolt, it's only 367 attack power, even with the S scaling. Yeah, you know what? You make a good point there. That is true. But if you utilize either the lacerating buff or the poison weapon buff, which both increase physical damage, these things do absurd damage. It's insane. Now, lacerating weapon and poison weapon, I believe also the higher the scaling is on the weapon, the more of a damage boost you get. That's just what it seems, because if you use those weapon buffs on other weapons that have lower scaling, they do not quite impact it as much. But on this weapon, for some reason, I think it is because of the double S scaling, they freaking increase the damage exponentially, as you've seen in the video. The Hush Saint kill was on New Game Plus 3, and he gets deleted like instantly. New Game Plus 3 Hush Saint gets deleted. So you see how much damage these things are capable of. And in PvP, as you've seen in the clips, these things pretty much two-shot you. It's crazy. But anyway, so since this is a quality weapon, a strength agile weapon, we are getting both our strength and agility to the soft cap at 50 each. Endurance we left at 15, comfortable there. Vitality is at 50. Yeah, we're a little squishy on this build, unfortunately. I'm typically comfortable around the 40 vitality mark. I try to get 60 if I can, but if I can't, it is what it is. But the fact that we'll get into it in a second, the armor is really low on this build, so we will be taking quite a bit of damage. And then radiance is at 30. However, if you do want to use poison weapon and do kind of like a hybrid build, like my Horn Skull build, then you could get a radiance and inferno in like around 30, 32 each, and then bring your strength and agility down. And probably your vitality down. If you want to use poison weapon and you want to use more umbral spells, or use a hybrid build where you could use the umbral and infernal spells like I did on my Horn Skull, that is the stat allocation that I would recommend for you guys. Onto the gear, the Gilded buckets. Obviously, this is the star of the show. But what runes are we using? We are going to be using 3 Gravix runes on this. We are two-handing the fist weapon. So, the cool thing about fist weapons is that it gains the benefit of two-handing while simultaneously having the dual-wielding moveset. So, really cool to have. We have 3 Gravix runes. And we're going to have that with the offhand Jeffrey Dagger, which is the lightest weapon that has the 3 all rune slots. And we're also going to stack 3 more Gravix rune slots on there, because we are two-handing our Gilded bucket. So, that is going to further increase our two-handed, two-wielding, whatever you want to call it, damage right there. And the offhand weapon does benefit the main hand weapon, so that's why we're using the Jeffrey Dagger. For our catalyst, we are using the Radiant Purifier catalyst, and that is because that is the strongest that we have for this stat allocation. Unfortunately, we only get 3 spell slots for that, but 3 is all we kind of need. These things do such damage, and this is more of a melee weapon, melee build. This is not a like hybrid kind of spell casting. Again, if you want to do that, then you're going to have to go the umbral route. I recommend doing the umbral route and just copying the Horn Skull build that I have, but just allocating more points into agility. For the spells, we are using Piercing Light. This is just a great sniping spell, a heal punish if you're PvPing. Kind of hard to hit sometimes because it comes out quite slow. So sometimes you kind of have to lead your target, unlock with the Piercing Light in PvP, and kind of just lead and see if you can hit them. I like the Divine Arms. I think this is a good pressure spell for PvP. For PvE, you can swap this out for anything else that you want. But for PvP, I like Divine Arms. It puts a lot of pressure on the opponent, and you can just chase them down once you cast this. And of course, Lacerating Weapon. This is huge, guys. This is what is going to give you your monster damage. Again, this buffs physical damage. This is a physical damage buff that scales with the higher the scaling the weapon has, the more of the weapon buff you're going to have. Again, you can use Poison Weapon over this if you go the Umbral route. And if you are going the Umbral route, then you're probably going to have to be using the Hunahuda effigy, because we won't be getting the maximum spell power. If you want maximum spell power, then use the Nahuda effigy. And if you want the more spell slots, then you're gonna use the Los Barescus. And I recommend actually utilizing the Los Barescus. If you're going to go the Umbral route, then use the Poison Weapon. Obviously, I would use the Umbral Agony spell, and then the other three could be Infernal spells. So you would utilize something like Seismic Slam, and then the two buffs. You're gonna use Adir's man, I forgot off the top of my head, the defensive one, and you're gonna use Adir's Rage and Adir's Hardiness for some resistances and defense, because we are very squishy on this build. Onto the armor. Now this is a theme build. This is a cosplay. We are cosplaying a Bucketlord, so we just went with a bucket on our damn head. We have no chest armor, and that's because we're using the princess thing. So we have no chest armor, and then I wanted to use something that has the lowest weight after that, and we are using arm bones and arm legs, which have 0 weight, but they do have resistances, which is why we went with it. And I have like a little silly look going on here, and I quite like it. But yeah, we have like no resistances on this build, so you do take a crap ton of damage. So be mindful of that. If you do not like playing with this low armor weight, just feel free to use heavier armor and things like that. But at least keep the damn bucket on your head. As far as the amulet is concerned, since we are low weight, we are using the princess thing, and this is going to give us a massive damage bonus, especially in the weight category that we are in. I believe we're getting around the 20% damage increase right now from it, which just buffs all our damage, our melee damage and our spell damage. However, if you want to utilize heavy armor, then you can use something like the Warrior's Claw, or even keep the Princess thing on and just go in a heavier tier, and maybe just put a chest armor on. You will lose out on some damage from Princess thing, but you will have more defense. So it's up to you guys. As far as the rings are concerned, we are using the Adir Kamar rings because we are two-handing our weapons, so we're getting the biggest damage boost from this. Now, if you are going to use the Umbral route, if you're going to go that, then you're going to have to use the ring that does boost, that allows you to cast the Infernal spells, which I recommended, like on my Horn Skull build. You could use the Charred Root over this, and you'll be able to cast the Infernal spells with your Umbral Catalyst. Now onto the Umbral Eyes. We are using, for the main socket, we are using the Eye of Eliard, and then for your secondary sockets, you are using the Eye of Marco the Axe and Eye of Blind Agatha. So we will be getting 2 extra Soulflake charges. We are utilizing the special ability on this weapon, which unlocks automatically once you complete the Bucketlord quest. And when we're in Umbral, you will be able to regain your Soulflake charges. So very easy to just spam this damn attack. It looks something like this. And that AoE is very good for mob clearing. But not only that, if you're hitting the actual boss or the enemy with the melee portion of this attack, it does massive freaking damage. And on top of that, it does crazy stagger damage. So in PvP, if they're not dead, they'll be open for a Grievous Strike or a follow-up. Now, I've noticed in 2.0 that these fist weapons hit quite hard. So after the special attack, just follow up with an R1, you'll be stun knocked to death. And yeah, it's GG's. Very strong weapon, a very fun weapon. Fist weapons are some of the best weapons in the entire game due to the sheer posture damage that they do and the quick move set. They're able to ish out big time damage in a short amount of time. But that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like, share it, subscribe if you have not done so already. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.